Okay, so last week, as we had all learned about sentences, verbs, and tenses. So I'm just going to give you a brief introduction about the three topics that we have already done. So the first topic was sentences, where we have learned that a group of words together forms a sentence, where a sentence has a subject. It's into two parts, where it has a subject and a predicate. Subject has a noun and a pronoun. It also has an article and an adjective. And the second part of the sentence is the predicate, which has very important part. That's the verb, which without which a sentence cannot be complete, cannot be a sensible sentence. Like birds fly, ma'am's favorite sentence, which is in each and every book where she has introduced this. Birds fly is the shortest and sensible sentence. And then next we come to is verbs. Now, what are verbs? Verbs are action words. They show that they are the words that make us do something. It tells us what a person is, like she is beautiful. So here in this sentence, she is the subject pronoun, where beautiful is the adjective, and is showing us the verb, where we don't have the active verb in this sentence, but we have a verb. uh, it shows is the verb, is the to be verbs, which helps us to complete a sentence. So is the verb here. It helps us. It is the to be verbs. There are six to be verbs: am, is, are, was, were, and be. Where am, is, and are the words which we use for present tense. Was and were are the words which we use for past tense, and be is the word which we use for the future tense. Okay, then the next part, when no action is taking place, then just being is a verb. Then what a person does is when there is no when there is an action word like study and play. So if we make a sentence like Geeta is dance, so is this sentence correct? No, it is not, because we do not use both to be verb and an active verb in the sentence. We say Geeta dances, or we say uh, Geeta is dancing, which is in the uh, Geeta is dancing in the tenses, continuous tenses. So ing with the base form is used for the continuous tenses. Okay. Then it tells us, the verb also tells us what is done to a person, like he is punished. Here, since there is no active action to be verbs, words are used with the verbs is. Then it also tells us what a person possesses, like he has a big car. So here, has and she has long hair. So have and has also are verbs, which shows that it possesses the verb, it what a person possesses. Then tenses, there are three types of main tenses when we are teaching the children in the junior classes. They are the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. When we teach them, we give them a small example of telling them that in your family, you are the youngest, your father and your grandfather. So we tell them that these are the three stages. So we tell them what is present, what was their past, and what is the future. So with the example, then even we use it with the class they were, like they were in pre-primary, now they are in primary, and then they'll move to the secondary classes. So this also we give them as examples to tell the three tenses. Then since verbs refer to action, the time of action is important here. The time of action is shown by tenses. Birds fly, birds flew, and birds will fly are the three different tenses that we use as present tense, past tense, and future tense. Then simple present tense, it denotes a habit or a general truth. It also denotes action occurring at regular intervals. Simple past tense denotes an action that has happened at a past time. The verb changes from by adding it changes by adding d or ed completely or it completely changes the form. Some words it completely changes. Some words change by adding D or ED to it. In simple past tense, it denotes an action that will take place at a later time. So we will or shall are used with the verb to show it is a future tense. In continuous tenses, we take the help of the be verbs that are called as our helping verbs. They help us to complete the sentence. Like if we say that she is plus dance, the base form, plus ing, then we say she is dancing. So here it shows that it is in the present tense. She is dancing. She was dancing shows that the action has already taken place. So was shows that it was in the past. And she will be dancing shows that she will dance sometime after this period. So she will be dancing on the stage tomorrow. So this shows that it is the future tense. We take the help of these to be verbs to show the continuous tenses. Thank you.
Very good, Nikita. When you say that, first she said, we don't use the active and be verbs together. This is one thing which all teachers have to explain to the children why, which I told you why. Because the state of being is understood in the active word. Yet this you must explain to children why we don't use the be verb and the active verb together. Because अगर मैं हूँ नहीं तो मैं भागूंगी कैसे? अगर मैं हूँ ही नहीं तो मैं गाऊंगी कैसे? So this particular thing is very important for them to learn. Now, when she said there are be verbs and there are active verbs, this is what we had done. She introduced a third one. She says verb is also what is done to us. And she gave the example of he is punished. Now you tell me, why is it wrong? What is the verb here? Is. Why is the verb? Why is the verb? What is punished here?
It's a verb, ma'am.
Verb, ma'am.
No, it's not a verb.
No. Is a verb.
Yeah, adjective.
Because punished is a state of being, like he is happy, he is sad, he is punished. So punished is the adjective technically and is the verb. But what is done to a person in that sense, when you say an award was given to him. Now, in that sense, do not introduce this verb thing here at all. Because when in a sentence like that, an award was given to him, what is given?
Verb.
Verb. What is was?
Verb. Helping verb.
Helping verb. What is it helping?
An award was given.
Now you see the trick. Okay, the trick is that I have just told you that is and was is only used with ing. Now you are telling the child an award was given. So was is used as a helping verb for the verb given. So confused ho gaya na? That is why it's very important for you to know what to teach when. Now this is not to be introduced because when we come to active and passive voice, after we have done the perfect tenses, given word only comes in the, given is the past participle of give. So it's a verb. Now only the child does not know given. The child only knows give, he knows gives, past tense kiya hai so gave, and he knows giving. But he does not know this word given. The moment you say given, first of all, he does not know the word. Secondly, he gets confused that abhi to bataya tha, is was only used with ing, only used with ing. 10 times ma'am said, and now she's using it with was, she's using with given. So that is why you see in this sentence, he was given an award. Given is a verb, was is a helping verb. But in the sentence, he is punished. Is the verb and punished is the adjective. He is happy, he is sad, he is punished. He is good. He is tall. So all this tall, happy, sad, you know, if you're ever confused, just substitute a word and get the part of speech. In your head, it must be very, very clear. So this was a major, fault. Secondly, when you came to the continuous tenses, that's why I say I only took these two tenses. It's very important that when you come to the continuous tenses, do not even once say they are present. Always say they are present continuous. In your mind, you must be having that they're continuous. But what you said was, see, this is present, this is past, this is, future. No, they are not. They are present. Continuous past, continuous future, continuous. So when you are, when you're doing tenses, do not deviate from what you're doing. Only do the amount you're doing. Usko cement ho jane do. Let the children be very clear. And then go on to the next tense. Introduce one, go back to it. Now, when you are doing the perfect tenses and you make them do that was given, is given, please go back to ing and say, I told you ing. So now you've grown up. Now you've advanced in grammar. Now I'm telling you that is, was is also a helping verb for the past participle. Do not introduce it before that. Quick recap, though Nikita has done it very well. And Nikita, I like the way you did the present past continuous with the classes you will be in and all that. That was a good thing. Now, we'll do a quick recap what we did. Verbs are action words we did. Verbs are being words we did. So there are two types of verbs we are doing, action verbs and being words. And tenses show the time of action we did. Present tense is what happens and not what is happening. This is the most important sentence of grammar, I think. Present tense is what happens and not what is happening. So be verbs become helping verbs with ing. The only time they become helping verbs till now are with ing. Otherwise, they do not come with any tense. Now, an action that happens at regular intervals, happens usually, happens generally, happens rarely, never, often, sometimes. Now, when these actions happen, then it's a simple present tense. But what are these words? These are called the signal words. These words signal the tense. So whenever usually comes, so it will be the present tense. Generally, rarely, it will be the present tense. Or the present tense is a habit or a custom. That means it usually happens or generally happens. Then it is a universal truth. That means whatever cannot be refuted. God is great. So always the present. God was great, we don't say. Then we learned that verbs change form with the subject, number and person. That we did. Now the next one that we did was an action. We did these oral drills, which was I play, we play, you play, all of you play, they play. So it is all plurals and I is all without any S. Third person singular, the verb gets an S. So he, she, it plays. Then we did certain rules. Each and every plays. Either Ravi or Ali plays. So either and neither depends on the second person or persons mentioned. If it is single, it will get an S. If it is plural, it won't get an S. So then we did that certain words which are considered one, like news. It seems like a plural, but it travels. So it's considered it, not a plural. Then 3 kilometers we did. If it's a single distance, 1 unit, it is taken as it. So the verb gets an S. Then we did a very important thing, the subject-verb agreement, which this is the main crux of verb-subject-verb agreement. And in this, a singular subject is a plural subject are. Only I is the exception, I am. Similarly, plurals are. Then we did, after that we did a very important portion which was do and does. So do and does are only used in negative sentences and questions. And they are also independently doing words. So that is why when they are independently doing words and it is a negative and a question, they occur twice. So do you do your homework every day? So do you do? One do is for the question and one do is for the work. Then we did a recap of do and does. We did oral drills of I play, I do not play. Now also very important to remember where the S goes. He plays. The S has gone to do. It has become does. So he does not, and the play remains without an S because that S has been transferred to do's. It has become does. So this is very important. Then we did negative and positive with the be verbs, which is very simple. Is he singing? He is singing. Am I singing? You are singing. So it is just a play of subject and verb. Now this is again important because a lot of you make mistakes in that. When you're asking, are you singing? Very often people say you are singing. So it is not the tone of your voice. It is the subject and the verb. He is singing. Subject comes first. In question, the verb comes first. Is he singing? So this is the difference. You cannot, make a simple statement into a question by altering the tone of voice. He is singing. So when you say he's singing, you think it's a question. But the question is he singing? So this is a very, very common mistake. I noticed this in 90% of the speakers. Now signal words for continuous tense. At the moment I am busy. Well, it's not continuous. At the moment I'm doing some work. So ing. So at the moment, if an action is continuous, then ing can be used. I was just walking through the garden. So just means it's recently happening, or it is just about finished happening and I'm talking of it like it is happening. So just now, listen, who is singing? Look, who is going? So now, right now, these are the signal words used for the continuous tense, present continuous. Then we did past tense. Past tense means the past form of verbs. You all have to learn only. The past form of verbs, once you've learnt, then all it requires is using the past form. So because in this I, you, we, they, he, she, it all is played. So you don't have to worry about that. No form is changing. Now what happens when it turns into questions and negatives? Just like do or does, the past form of do or does is did. So that is why you use did. There is no do like it was in present tense, do or does. In this it's did for everything. So did he sing? Did you sing? Did I sing? Did they sing? Did. So in questions and negative, do and does changes to did. Now, the signal words used are yesterday, 5 minutes ago, in 1947, the other day, last Friday. So any time in the past. Also, what important thing to notice here is that in the question, when do or does, they change to did. Just like S, it went to do, it became does. So play remained by itself. Similarly, the moment the past tense goes to do, the verb comes back to original. So did he sing? Did he sing? So this particular concept you can explain to children by either doodle diagrams or with some nice video or with annotations on your thing of making arrows. How the S goes and how the ED or D goes. So this is interesting for the students only if you explain it nicely. Past continuous tense is very similar to present continuous tense, but instead of is and was, is and am, was and were are used. Is, am, are, and in this, was and were. Now signal words of past continuous. Now when I say I was singing, now either you'll ask me what were you doing, so I'll say I was singing. But if you've not asked me the question and I just say I was singing, it doesn't make sense because I have to have some support, there. I was singing when she walked into the room. So I'm signifying a past period where she walked into the room shows that it was a past period. And then when she walked into the room, that means I'm telling you it's a past period. What was I doing? I was singing. I was singing while she was dancing. So two was dancing, was is showing me the past, and two simultaneous actions continuous are taking place. So as long as these are the signal words by which you can use the past continuous tense. Then the simple future tense is a simple tense, so there is no problem, only everywhere. Now future, the moment you hear the word future, will come. Whether it is future, future continuous, future perfect, anything. So will is a helping word that is stuck with the future tense. Future words like next year, tomorrow, in a year, or conditional. Conditional means if you ask her, she will help you. This will do later. Do not introduce it to the younger classes. But as you grow older, you understand the conditional. Now in this sentence, if you ask her, she will help you. That means you have not asked her. Both the actions are future. When you ask her, she will help you. So both actions have not happened. Now when two actions happen in the future, one is understood and one is given as will. There are no two wills in the sentence. This is another common mistake. If you will ask her, she will help you. No. One is understood because if you ask her means that you have not asked her. So it's an assumption, it is in the future. So I think probably perhaps in 1 year, next week, tomorrow, these are the signal words. Now we come to another very important tense, which is the present perfect tense. Now present perfect tense is a tense where you use has and have as helping verbs. As helping verbs, you cannot use present perfect tense without has or have. Now the ing form of the verb is called the present participle form. The third form, which a lot of people study as the third form, is called the past participle form. But this is confusing because the form of the verb is called past participle and the tense is called present participle. So you see there is a little discrepancy in that. Now why is it there? First we have to understand what is present perfect tense. How is it different from present tense? Now present tense is I play. मैं खेलती हूँ. Continuous tense is I am playing. खेल रही हूँ. Now what is the present perfect tense? Present perfect tense is neither past nor present, or it is both, which means the action has just about occurred. It is past, but is just about past. So the present perfect tense is a little past and a little present. That is why it's called the present perfect tense, but uses the past participle. In this, just like the subject-verb agreement, I, you, we, they have, and he, she, it has. The present participle you must remember is ing form. Past participle is the third form, which is the perfect tense. Now we'll take a simple example of the word give. Now when I use give, it is a simple present. It doesn't need any help. Only it changes form with he, she, it. So give and gives. It doesn't require any other help. Now when it turns to past tense, the verb only changes, so it doesn't require any help. Itself it changes to give. So give and then gave. It requires no help. It does not require is, was, has, have, nothing. Because the verb changes form. Now in future, simple future tense, the verb remains the same give. So it requires help because otherwise it becomes confusing with present. So to give it help and to show its future, we use will. So will comes to help. In the present continuous tense, we use ing. So it tells us that it is continuous. But it doesn't tell us whether it is present or past continuous or future continuous. So that is why again it requires help. And this is where the be verbs come to help. You see, if you see this pattern where it requires no help, either the verb is in its basic form or it changes itself. But whenever the verb does not change in the tense form, we require help. Future form, the verb is not changing, so will comes to help. In continuous form, though continuous form is denoted by ing, but still it does not tell us present, past or future ing. So that is why we require help again. And this help we take from the be verbs. Now, when the past participle form of the verb is given. Now, given also denotes the past participle form. You cannot use given in simple present, past, future or continuous. Given is only in the perfect tenses. But given does not tell us whether it is present, past or future continuous. So that is why we again require help. And we take the help from has, have and had. So these are three different forms of has. So has, have and had help us in the present perfect tense. Now we'll take the example of another verb, sing, sang and sung. These are the three forms. Sing is the basic form, sang is the past form, sung is the participle form. So in the past participle form, we ask, has he sung? Answer, he has sung. Now, if you notice, we are using the third form. That is why you are using has. We cannot use has with basic. We cannot use has sing. We cannot use has singing. We can only use has have with the third form sung. Now, signal words used are already, ever, just, never, not yet, so far, till now, up to now. Now, what am I doing when I say signal words are already, yet? What am I doing exactly is that I am referring to an action which has just happened. So all these type of times are taken up by the perfect tenses. Now, past participle. Now, this was a present perfect tense. The past perfect tense uses had. Now, if you notice, has, have, had form is used. So, one past is changed. From have and has, the have has changed to had. One past is already there. And the second past is in the past participle. The past participle is used with the past tense of has and had. So, that is had. Double past is there because one past is the past tense of have and has. One past. The second past is in the perfect, in the participle. So there are actually two pasts in this tense. Past perfect tense has two past. Present perfect tense has a little present, a little past. Please notice that. Present perfect tense, just past. Past perfect tense, two past. Past perfect tense has to have two pasts. One past may be understood, but it has to be there. Now, in a sentence like, I had given him the book, I cannot just say I had given him the book unless you ask me. What happened? Did you give him the book? Yes, I had given him the book, which means that I am referring to a past. I'll just explain it to you when it's understood. Let's take a simple sentence first. It'll be easier. I had given him the book, but he lost it. First action, he lost it. That is a past action. Now, I gave him the book before he lost it. So, that is past before past. Do you understand that? Past perfect tense is past before another past. Now, when you ask him, did you give him the book? And I say, yes, I had given him the book. I'm not saying the first past. The first past is, you had told me to give him the book, first past. Then I gave him the book, second past. So I am referring to the second past because you are asking me a question and it is understood what we are talking about. But as a statement, I will say, I had given him the book after you told me to give it to him. So this is what I mean. But because I do not want to say such a long sentence, you know what I'm saying. So I just say, yes, I had given him the book. Now, past perfect tense we use had. So question will be, had he sung? Answer will be, he had sung. Why I put the dots because we have to complete the sentence. This is not a complete sentence. He had not sung. Had you sung? We had sung. I had not sung. Now, these sentences are not complete. The signal words used again are already. I had already finished my work when my father came home. So my father came home is the first past. Before that, I had finished my work. So that is the past perfect. I had just finished my work when my father came home. That means I still finished my work. I had finished my work and then he came home. Okay. So these are the type of signal words you use. The details you will get in your books. But by and large, these are the signal words. Now past perfect tense. Now we complete the sentences. First sentence question was, had he sung? Had he sung his part before the music failed? That means the music failed. First past. Had he sung his part before the music failed? So that is why it is past perfect tense. Yes, he had sung his part before the music failed. Past perfect tense. Question. Had you sung your part before the music failed? Yes, we had sung our part before the music failed. No, we had not sung our part before the music failed. I had not sung my part before the music failed. Now this before the music failed was missing in the previous sentences because I wanted you to know that had is used. So you see this is a very simple exercise. So these are the kind of mistakes you made, and especially when you're talking, you see this you're conscious that you have to fill in the blank with call. But when you're talking, you forget all this. So if you want to practice this, it has to be a lot of English conversation and a lot of repetition. That is why so many oral drills are given in the English matters also. So we've done the perfect tenses. Next time we'll carry on. We'll take a recap. Who's going to do the lesson next time?
Ma'am, when we use had in a sentence,
Now,
sometimes
first of all, tell me what is wrong with Shelja's question.
There is no do.
when we use, I said.
When do we use? In
When do we
questions,
use?
yes, this is again a very common error. When do we use have or has in a question, in a statement?
Had, she said.
Have or had?
Two hads.
Sometimes
Two hads.
it is had, double had.
Okay. This I was going to take up in the next session, but anyway, now that you've asked, you see, just like do and does are verbs by themselves, similarly has and have many meanings. So I had had my food when my father came home. I had. Now this had is the past form of have. This have means kha liya. So have your food fast. Don't you say that? You don't say eat your food fast. So have means eat also. I have fever. So have means suffering also. So have has many words that it substitutes. If you're using it for a substitute word, then you turn it into had in the past tense. I had fever yesterday, which means I was suffering from fever yesterday. I have fever now. At present, I have fever. I have 2 eggs a day. Eat 2 eggs a day. I had 2 eggs yesterday for breakfast. That means I ate. Now this is separate. It could be any verb. If I say I eat 2 eggs a day, I will say I ate 2 eggs yesterday. Right? So then I would have said I had eaten 2 eggs before they offered me jalebi. So I had is the past tense of have or has, and eaten is the past participle form of eat. Instead of eaten, I'm using had because had is also the past participle form of had. So have has, which is present, had past, and had is also the third past participle. There is no hadden. This like eaten. हाँ.
मैम सो हैविंग ing फॉर्म कब यूज होता है?
I am having coffee, matlab I am drinking coffee. Now again, you cannot say I am having 2 cars because that have is possession. I have 2 cars means I possess 2 cars. Now I do not say I am possessing 2 cars. There is no continuous. वो तो है ही ना मेरा. उसमें मैं possess कर रही नहीं हूँ. वो मेरे ही हैं. That is why when a lot of you say I am knowing the answer. It is not a continuous process where you will be knowing the answer. There's no continuity in it. I know the answer. It's a firm statement कि मुझे पता है, मुझे पता लग रहा है नहीं है. Understood? So having is with ing can only be used when it's substituting a verb, which can be used with ing. I am eating breakfast. I am having breakfast. I am having fever नहीं because I have fever. वो तो है ही ना मुझे. State है. So that is why I cannot say I'm having fever. So whatever word it's substituting, if that can be used with ing, have is used with ing. If that cannot be used, have is not used with ing.
There's a very popular food chain which has a very popular slogan.
Yeah.
Can anybody tell me which one it is?
उनका tagline है. Tagline.
Tagline.
I'm loving it.
Yes.
I'm loving it.
McDonald's.
I'm loving it. You see, again, it is used as humor wit. But otherwise, I'm loving you नहीं हो सकता ना. It's not. Love is something that you just have in your heart. So, I am loving you is no sentence. So, I'm loving it, they say it because they want to twist the sentence and make it incorrect. It's not a correct sentence.
Every grammar teacher usually has a favorite tense. Does anybody have a favorite tense that you really like teaching?
I like the future tense now. Especially when it is, when the future time reference, where the part of the clause is, indifferent and the others different. It's very tricky. So the children really get, I like to, really fool them.
Future tense is very
I enjoy
simple.
that.
Future tense is very simple in the beginning, and later on it's one of the toughest tenses then. In the beginning, in the till class 4, 5, what is very important is the simple tense where children must be very clear. That is where they make maximum mistakes. And these mistakes never tend to get corrected. That is why we have so many adults making these mistakes.
Whenever I used to teach past perfect, I always used to tell the students that in the past perfect, you have two actions. One happens before and one after. And I think the timeline is a very, very good method of teaching tenses. Where
next time I'm going to do
where each tense begins, where it ends, where it does not end, where it has effect on another tense. So that is very, and especially if you put, you draw the timeline and you have times on that, then it becomes easier for the children to understand. So when you say, I had finished my homework when daddy came home, then you ask them which are the two actions, and then you ask them which is the one that's happening before and which is the one that's happening after. So that makes it simpler for the children to understand.
Yeah. Next time, in fact, my PPT has the timeline and it's a drawing timeline. So we'll do it. I wanted you to first get a mental concept of it. And then we'll do it on the timeline. This is the way you will teach the students also. She's very right. The timeline has to be drawn and taught. It is, they understand it pictorially much better. So that's a good way of teaching.
That's how I learned it from Rana ma'am.